Good morning. Donald Trump won the presidency and the stock market is flying. But remember, you don't vote for the president that you think will do the best for the stock market. The stock market isn't the economy, and the stock market will always find a way to prevail. And we can point fingers and we can say, well, this is Biden's fault, or Harris should have been more outspoken against some of Biden's policies, or that the disinformation campaign that Trump ran was too powerful and he tricked a lot of uneducated voters or uninformed vote. We can point fingers and we can blame, and Trump supporters are going to be in the comments going, haha, I told you. And we can say all the things that we want to say about, like, well, you'll see, time will tell. But what do you do now? Especially as an investor, especially as a female investor. Let's talk about it. And not just if you're a woman. If you're a woman, if you're transgender, if you are an immigrant, if you are a person of color, if you are lower middle class or below the poverty line, this video is for you. If I was a woman in this country, I would be working on one thing, and that would be an emergency travel plan. If I were in need of medical services and was able to travel, I understand that some people who are in need of medical emergency procedures aren't able to travel, and that would be very unfortunate. But if you were able to travel, I would set up an emergency savings account right now so I could travel somewhere overseas if I had to. Just a couple of $1,000. I'm talking about airfare, hotel, Uber, food, medical services, a couple $1,000. And by the way, everyone should have an emergency rainy day fund. Everyone at all times, no matter who the president is, no matter what's going on, everyone should have 6 to 12 months of emergency savings that you don't touch, that is in a high yield savings account. Now, if you're good with money management, you can put your travel emergency fund in the same savings account, right? Just put another couple thousand in there and use it and say, well, that $2,000 or $3,000 is for travel for a medical emergency. If you're not, and you're the type who kind of dips into your high yield savings account every once in a while and you go, well, I'll pay it back, then open up a new dedicated travel emergency fund that you cannot touch, or that you plan to not touch. If you are an immigrant, even if you are a legal immigrant, set aside some money and start researching now immigration attorneys. It's better safe than sorry. Even if you're a legal immigrant, you still might want to have access to an immigration attorney should you need one. And I would imagine, I don't know, but I would imagine that immigration attorneys could be costly. So set aside some money for that. If you are on any sort of medication, including like for diabetes, look into traveling to a country like Mexico, where usually through customs you can bring back a 90-day supply. This would be not ideal to have to travel to Mexico to get cheaper medication, but it could be a reality soon for many Americans. I know it's expensive, especially if you don't live near the border to get into Mexico. But again, start saving up. It might be something that you have to do. If you are transgender, I don't know much about the medical side of things, but if you are on prescription medication or hormone replacement therapy and you are worried that that is at risk, again, same thing as what I said for immigrants and for women, set up a travel account. You might have to go to other countries to get your medication. That would be very expensive and very unfortunate, but it could be a reality that a lot of people will soon be facing. If you are in the middle class, lower middle class, or you live below the poverty line, that one might be especially difficult, but expect the cost of things to go up. One of the ways you can combat this is by living very below your means, saving your money instead of spending it on lots of little things. Remember, little things can add up. I'm never going to be the finance content creator who says, oh, you went to Starbucks? That's why you can't afford a house. Duh. But for people who say, oh, I can't afford to invest, little purchases can add up in a big way. And that can hinder your ability to have emergency savings accounts, regular savings accounts, and investments, or even maybe potentially, have a little bit more for a down payment on a home. The stock market is up today, like crazy. Like the Dow Jones futures or the Dow futures are up like 1,300%. Let me just see if I can find it. Dow futures surged 1,300 points. Now it's up around 1,200 points. Markets are flying today. Now this could be due to several things. One, the election is over, right? Wall Street hates uncertainty. Just broadly speaking, they don't like uncertainty. They want to know who's going to be the president and what the policies are going to be, and then they can move on. So one, now the election is over. Okay, good. Markets would go up. They probably would have gone up if Harris had gotten elected too. Remember, different sectors go up under different presidents, right? So like oil and gas stocks are kind of flying this morning. Maybe war stocks are also flying this morning. But most economists around the world have said that Trump's policies and plans would be devastating for the markets and for our economy. And by the way, I just wanted to point something out here when we're talking about the cost of things going up. A lot of stocks are up this morning, including the markets overall. However, companies like Five Below, which if you don't know is a discount like superstore, it's like things in the store are under $5. Five Below is plummeting. It is plummeting this morning. Yesterday, it was $96 a share. This morning, it is $81 a share pre-market. At least I'm filming this video before the stock market has opened. It's 9:10 in the morning. It has hit a low of $81 because of Trump's proposed plan on tariffs. Well, everything at Five Below is imported from China. So expect Five Below to soon be changing their name to like 15 Below. Some things that I'm going to start doing in my personal life are cutting back on expenses. Remember, if you eat meat and you eat a lot of meat is expensive. It might get more expensive in the months or years to come. Look for alternatives. I'm not a big fan of this. I love steak. I love chicken thighs. But I have found ways now to cut back on how much meat that I eat, not because I'm worried about the health reasons, but because it is more expensive. And I'm incorporating things like chickpeas or butter beans into my meals to stretch them out. A can of beans is still relatively cheap, $1, $2, depending on where you go. So if I get a big pack of chicken thighs, maybe at Costco, where I would eat those thighs a lot quicker in the past, now I'm able to stretch it out a little bit more. You might want to do something like that as well. If you are an investor and you've got a lot of money, this could be a great opportunity for you as some policies start getting enacted and markets maybe do take a tumble. I mean, a lot of economists have said that his plans would be devastating for the markets, to set up an investing wish list. This is, again, critically important for people who are women, people of color, immigrants, transgender community. You need to have investments. Investments are your way out. You need to start investing. So spend as much as you can on high quality investments. Even boring stuff like one S&P 500 index fund, one technology based fund, one dividend fund. Dividends are great because they compound slowly over time, and they pay, especially high quality ones, have long track records of paying and maintaining dividends no matter what is going on. So they can insulate your portfolio in recessions and give you a little bit of peace of mind. On the screen right up here are some options for all of them. Please also check out my playlists here on TikTok. I have videos on ETFs, on Roth IRAs, on just ETFs in general, on dividend stocks, on growth stocks. Make sure you familiarize yourself with the stock market. You need to be living below your means, and you need to be investing as much as possible and having a plan to invest even more if markets tumble, as they very well could. If you are upset about Donald Trump winning, I'm right there with you. I completely understand it. But the only thing you can do right now, at least right now, is look out for yourself. You need to start saving. You need to start investing.